Before we install the props, let's plug in the quad into the computer. Let's turn on the transmitter. And let's plug the battery into the quad. So now that we're connected, you'll see everything is working. Let's go to Basic, RC. And we're going to be in this area right here. To calibrate the GPS, we'll have to use the mode switch and flip it back and forth, one end to the other, 10 times to get into the calibration mode. When we're at the field, I'll show you this being done. But for right now, we're going to have to set up the manual mode. The reason we have center switch and the bottom switch in attitude or ADDI, we don't want someone to make a mistake and go into manual mode. You can fly manual mode, but you would have to be a very, very, very good pilot to be able to handle it. Most likelihood, if you go into that area here, you have it in manual, you're going to crash really quickly. Unless you're very experienced. So that's the reason we're doing 2 switches in ADDI. So you'll fly GPS or attitude and you won't have the ability to go anywhere else. Until you get really good, then you can. But for right now, we need to set this up. So just as we did before, we're in the 3rd position of the mode switch, right here, all the way down. And let's change this. We're going to move the slider. And I already know it needs to be at about 1190. So let's go down. You can see it moving. And then we'll go to 1190. Now, we're in manual mode. And you can see it right here. So now in the mode switch, when we're all the way up, we're GPS, attitude mode, manual. So what we're going to do is leave it at this. We'll unplug the battery. We'll disconnect the quad. So whenever you go to the field and you're ready to calibrate it, you'll have the ability to do that. And like I said, in a video coming up, I'll show you how it works to get it into calibration mode. So after you've completed the calibration, I would really suggest to go back and reverse it in the same place that it was. You can leave it here if you want, just please remember, unless you're really experienced, don't go into that bottom switch. So now we're ready to go to the field, install the props, and do the calibration, and have our first flight, our maiden flight on this build. The video coming up, when we do get to the field, is going to be really, really noisy. We had winds from 12 to 15 on up to 23 miles per hour gust. So there's a lot of wind noise, but you'll see how it's flown, and this is a very, very good test for your nozzle light. We'll see you at the field. We're using 845 props, 8-inch diameter, and the pitch is, or the angle, 4.5. The props have a certain rotation, and if you look at it, on this particular prop, it's easy to tell. It has a curve on the tip, and it would turn this way. So that way. You'll always have the writing on the prop, and this will tell you 845. Should be facing up. Okay? Not like that, like this. You also get inserts with your prop, and what you want to do here Just pick the one that has the better fit. So you can try them. This has a real good fit. This is loose, super loose. Can't even get these on. This has the best fit. So you'll just pop this out. You can either cut it out or just twist it and pull it off. And this is beveled, so it's only one way it's going to go in. And just slide it in. So we'll take the prop nut off. The washer. You have the adapter on. Slide it on and push it all the way down. Put your washer back on. Your prop nut on top rather. And then you want to tighten this up really good. So while holding the motor, you do not want your prop to have the ability to turn. So tighten this up really, really well. Use a wrench. Torque it down really well. What I would suggest after every flight, double check it. It's a good thing to do. And if I'm ever going to plug the battery in while the quad is inside, make sure and take the props off. That's what I do. It's safer. So when I go to the flying field, I'll put the props on, tighten them up really, really good, and remember after every flight, check it again. Smart thing to do. So the way this is installed here, that would be counterclockwise. And again, this would be clockwise. This is Danny with QuadLugs. We're installing the props. We're going to calibrate the GPS. We're going to fly this, the maiden flight, first time after this build. When you install the props, you want to make sure the writing is facing up. This is supposed to be counterclockwise, clockwise, counterclockwise, clockwise. You can tell on these particular props anyway, you can see how they angle back. That's the way it would turn. You can also see it's cupping, so you want to turn into the cup. And you can tell when it's turning this way, it's pushing air down. So that's counterclockwise. This is clockwise. This is counterclockwise. And this is clockwise. You might see some tape on here. I use these props on another one just to try this one out, or for the maiden rather. And I balance my props. And we'll have a video later on. We'll do some videos on balancing props. Smart idea. Just keep any vibrations out. So anyway, that's the reason you're seeing the tape on there. So we're going to go ahead and install the battery. This is a smaller battery than what I would normally put on here, but it works for this, for what we're doing. We're not going to fly it a long time. The wind is very strong here today, and we're getting ready to get a lot of rain. So let's turn on the transmitter. We're going to make sure it's in GPS, and it is. Oh. And it is. Let's plug in the battery. Very windy. Okay, now we're going to take it out at the field here, and we're going to go ahead and put it in calibration mode. I'll show you the calibration, and then again we'll fly it. One thing, it's probably best not to do calibration like over concrete where it may have rebar or anything like that, steel, around a steel building. It's better to get as far away as you can from any steel. You'll get a better calibration. So when you're in GPS mode, it'll be a better hold when you're in GPS lock. So I'm going to walk out there now. We're walking.
We're walking. We're walking.
So I'm gonna set it down. We're gonna keep our eye on the LED right there. To put it in calibration mode, we're going to move the mode switch back and forth, all 3 clicks back and forth 10 times. It's going to go steady orange. That's going to tell us it's in calibration mode. There you are, steady orange. I'm going to set the transmitter down. Okay, so we're going to turn it. Try to keep it as level as you can. Now it went to green. Turn it face down, and we're going to turn it as best you can to keep it nice and level. You saw it go out. We're calibrated. So let me set it down. And the instruction manual that comes with the NASA light, it gives you all the LED indicators, what they mean, or how many times they flash, what it means, and what color. Right now, you're getting a green steady flash, and if you looked in your manual, you would see that it's got GPS lock. It takes a little while. At the very beginning, if it's a new controller, it might take 3 to 4 minutes, 5 minutes to get a good lock on. And again, look at that manual. Keep it with you, and until you get used to it, and it'll tell you what those flashes mean. So right now it's telling us we have GPS lock. So we're at the mode switch. Green is showing that we have GPS lock. We are in GPS now. I'm going to put in attitude mode, and you can see it's flashing orange. So keep your manual with you, and it'll tell you that you're in attitude mode. So all these LEDs are indicating what modes it's in. This is the intelligent orientation switch, and you'll see here we're getting like an orange and green, and we'll go all the way down. Okay. So anyway, keep the manual, take a look at that. So we're ready. This is our maiden flight. We're going to arm it, and then we're going to give it a little throttle. When we get to about half throttle, it's going to pick itself up. I'm going to push it away from us a little bit. It's very windy. So you can see at half throttle, it took off. Pull the throttle back just a little bit to adjust your attitude, or to adjust your altitude. So you can see it's really windy right now. Do you see it's holding it real good? I'm not doing anything. It's doing its best it can to stay right there. So I'm just going to go ahead and move it out. And you might see it leaning because that's the direction of the wind. It's going left to right. So it's doing a very, very good job of holding it. And I'm not touching it right now. So if I move the throttle up, it's really fighting it, isn't it? It's going to gain altitude. If you move the throttle down, and it's going to lower the altitude. When you go back to center stick, it'll stay right there. And you can see it's doing a very, very good job. So I'm going to fly it around a little bit. The red is showing that the battery is getting low. These batteries were not fully charged. So we're going to fly it a little bit. We're going to give it a little bit of throttle. And then now we're going to go center stick, and it'll stay right there. Now I want to take it out of GPS. We'll land. And I'm going to take it out of GPS and put it in ADDI. Now this is pretty much, the wind's going to want to blow it. I'll show you. You'll have to give constant input. So you have to fly it now. Now I'm going to let all the sticks go this time, and look at the wind. That's what's happening. So in GPS mode, and we'll flip it into GPS mode in a minute, you'll see how it locks it in and how much work it's doing. So right here, it is not in GPS. We're going to let the wind take it. Now I'm going to flip it into GPS. That's what happens. See how it caught it? Very cool. Works really well. We're going to take it out of GPS mode again. There it goes again. Put it back in, and it caught it. Okay. There's a lot more it can do. We'll have a few more videos on that. But this will get you going. Read up on it. There's tons of videos out there. You'll really like this thing. It's really good. So let's just pull the throttle down a little bit and it'll land it for you. And it'll go ahead and turn it off. Right on. First flight went great. This is Danny with QuadLugs.